There you are. Did you deal with those bandits? All right. Then where is it? I don't have time to fetch it myself. What difference does that make? They stole my crops. They're criminals. I bet they're up there eating like kings and taking us for fools. Let them live the good life. Get lost. I'm about to say things that you don't want to hear.
Welcome back! What can I get you?
Are you as excited to get started as I am? Because I'm very excited. Good timing. I'm about ready to get started. So, did you learn anything of particular interest? That's the fun part of metaphysics. Everything is strange, but nothing is new. Look at us. Barely even started, and already we're making progress. Monto's machine is working, Elia will keep an eye on her revenants, and Yvette and Remy are providing us an alibi. I needed those animancers for more than their expertise. Monto's invention nullifies spiritual interference. Having it up and running means we won't get any false signals. Whenever I tap into an Adra pillar, Elia's farmhands tend to get a little bitey. Thanks to you, they won't be a problem. And then there's Yvette and Remy, the governor's eyes and ears. In exchange for privacy, I gave them a test subject. I'd call that a good day's work. Animancy takes a lot of preparation. You might only have one chance to run through an experiment. Now we just need the right equipment for the job. When my parents died, they left me their life's work. An invention like no other. The phantasmal focus. Exactly. There are many ways of going about it, but my mother's invention will get us quick results. The problem is it's in the basement. I haven't gone down there since the accident. Since they died.
I'm sure everything's fine. It's just a spooky death basement.
I would get it myself, but I'm not ready to face what's down there. The door to the basement is just outside, around the corner. Of course you'll need a key. Please excuse the mess.
If that's where her parents died, I'm glad we can spare her from having to go back. Okay, walking into the basement of an animal I just met. Right, feels great.
Don't know what I expected, but this... This isn't it.
Haven from the Blight. who grows here.
I feel pretty certain that those people aren't supposed to be plants.
What a horrific fate.
Beauty reborn. A life of peace.
Guards. We can leave now, right?
Poor Giada. To think she's been living with this right under her nose.
One moment. I don't. Anyone know what happened back there?
I think those were Giada's parents. Whatever's left of them.
So they're dead?
Or something like that.
Gods, I can't believe this.
You're back. You found it. You actually found my inheritance. Did you see my mother and father? Are they still there? For the time being, that would be best. With the phantasmal focus, I can finally tap directly into the essence of the living lands. I can also use it to smack around anyone who gets in our way. Don't worry, it's more durable than it looks. Kind of like me. The only thing we're missing now is an Adra pillar, and I know the perfect one. Naku Tedek, the old godless ruin west of Eora. There should be some equipment waiting for us. That rugged thing? It's as dry as a bone. Hardly any essence left. Even if it wasn't, I'm not exactly welcome in the workshop these days. We used it to study the Adra pillar. Then some priests moved in and took offense at our work. I hope they haven't tampered with the equipment, or this will be a very short experiment. Before we head out, let's make the most of our time in Eora. No telling how long we'll be gone. And I hate to be a problem, but I do my best work in small groups. Chalk it up to performance anxiety. That was not my finest hour. I was so angry. Mistakes were made. When it comes to the Dream Scourge, I don't want there to be any mistakes.
Ah, finally, some time to rest my feet.
Once we're all together, we should trade ghost stories. Best way to get acquainted. In the meantime, let's be off. I hope no one minds. I made myself at home.
Don't mind at all. It's good to have you. Tell us... Tell us a bit about yourself, Giada.
Let's see. A few things about me. I enjoy long conversations, and my favorite season is autumn. Apparently, I also snore, which annoys some people.
So do I. Glad it won't just be me now. We should pitch our tents on either side of Marius. The drone really helps him sleep.
Right, that's me. And the first rule of camp is never listen to Kai. He's a blessed Nimdude of the highest order.
If anyone needs their soul tinkered on, don't hesitate to ask. I'm rather good with souls.
I'll take your word for it.
Envoy? Hard to imagine what Giada's going through right now, with her parents and all that. I mean, I have no idea what actually happened there, but she lost her people. She'll need time to get past that. And she deserves it. Right, changing the subject? Right. I'm sure you'll find it absolutely gripping. Go ahead. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. As you know, Kai and I have worked together in the past. It's a blessed miracle he never got me killed. Honestly, he's a good guy. A bit too quick to ask questions for my taste, but... Kai's good enough. Tell him I said that I'll cut a hole in your water skins. Ask away. There's a skeleton sitting in a chair out on the coast, west of the Fjord docks. No idea what it's doing there, but I'm always curious. Let's see. Water can be a problem out here. Don't drink from the rivers or creeks you find here. They're full of saka. Literally. You can get good water from inside most plants here, especially the larger vines. Or you can tap most of the trees for sap. I always put out some kind of cloth to collect the dew in the morning. That's assuming Kai doesn't take it and use it as a nose rag. Oh, there's another tip. Make sure the people you're traveling with aren't Nimdudes. Right, changing the subject. Until next time.
Thank you again for letting me join you. An Animancer never misses an opportunity to embrace the unknown. Still, being an Animancer feels different without Fior Messiverno. For the first time, I don't have to prove myself to anyone. It'll take some getting used to, that's for sure. At least now I have a place I can call my own. Believe me, that's plenty. Not to change the topic, but this little adventure of ours, will it be dangerous? A little bit of trouble in moderation can be good for the soul. My mother and father taught me how to defend myself, among other things. When you need me, I'll be ready. I hope so, anyway. Go on, then. I'm listening. Ah, you want a story? Very well. Settle in. It all started about 50 years ago, in the great city of Spirento. A young nobleman by the name of Maxim Vidaro sought to inherit a distinguished government position. We'll get to that. A distant cousin cheated Maxim out of the title. He was devastated, his political future uncertain. No one lifted a finger to help. Not the banks, not the merchants, or the politicians. So, Maxim did what Valians do best. Not exactly, but close. Maxim plotted his revenge. They say he prayed to Scan, the effigy, god of rebellion and defiance, to ask for a blessing. And Scan answered. Take their best and brightest, their heirs, their scholars, their futures, to the far side of the world, never to return. And Maxim did just that. He gathered a following and left the Valian republics, giving thanks to his dark god. We prefer to call it an intellectual haven of free thinkers, but it's true that most of us are animancers. Spirento was full of animancers, many of them in debt, and Maxim was a wealthy patron. They needed each other. So the animancers followed Maxim all the way out here, including my parents, Quilici, and others around town. At the time, this place was an animancer's dream. No oversight, limited government, and soil rich with essence. 40 years later, Maxim vanished. They say the effigy came to collect his soul. Of course, you and I know better. He died peacefully, content that what he made would outlast him. His son has been in charge ever since, for better or worse. I have good reason to be critical, but I also know his life isn't as easy as it looks. He and I might squabble in public from time to time, but we're both just figuring it all out as we go. Thanks for listening. We should do this again.
I love a good ghost story. Just not the dreams I have afterwards.
Hadn't heard all that before. Probably a lesson or two in there.
One of these days you'll have to tell me an Adiran ghost story. You learn a lot about people by what scares them. Let me think. Quilici has a girlfriend, as cute as a button, and as smart as an archmage. That isn't a secret, I'm just happy for him. Have you heard of the incident at Beldereno Pass? 20 settlers lost their lives in a winter storm. Ever since, people have heard ghostly cries from a nearby cave. Fascinating, isn't it? Tragic, of course, but fascinating. Sorry to disappoint you, but I haven't heard anything new of late. Being an outcast means being out of the loop. What do you want to know? Anyone in particular? I warn you, I'm not the best judge of first impressions. Kai is a useful fellow. We need people like him to keep you grounded. Just not too grounded. On the surface, Kai is all charm and confidence. You feel good knowing he's around. But there's something deeper. Something in his core that he guards from everyone. Maybe even himself. Oh, not at all. Kai is a sweetheart. And if that's who he chooses to show us, then that's who he is. If there's another side to him, he'll show us when he's good and ready. No need to rush a natural process. Marius is working through something. An old wound that hasn't healed. A search for forgiveness? Who knows? He's a tough fellow, but I wouldn't put too much pressure on him. Good question. Mental and emotional pressure, specifically. Marius could hunt the great western stag if he set his mind to it, but his own feelings elude him. When he wants to find himself, give him room to do so, but don't push him. Just be there to catch him. We haven't been together long, but I think I have you figured out. In Paradise, you handed your killer to the Steel Garrote. Much like tossing meat to a pack of wolves. Your Messiverno tolerates you well enough. No doubt thanks to my influence. Of course, all I know is what you've done. You may not think these choices reflect who you are. At the end of the day, you shouldn't care what anyone thinks. All that matters is how you see yourself. I've spilled all the gossip I know. Ask me again when there's a new face in camp. I suppose you deserve to know, after what I put you through. My mother wanted to expand Fiore's agriculture. Feeding Emerald Stair wasn't ambitious enough. She wanted to feed the world. She thought she could break the wilderness, using animancy as the whip. Turn the living lands into a garden. Anything's possible, but there are significant problems to overcome. After my father put the finishing touches on the phantasmal focus, she was impatient to get started. After all, whoever controls the spirit of the living lands has nature in the palm of their hand. My father thought so too. Emerald Stair was just the beginning to her. My father thought she was brilliant. Others thought she was mad. I think she was a victim of her own ambition. She wanted so much, and there was so little time to achieve it. Theoretically, her plan should have worked. But the living lands had other ideas. When she used the phantasmal focus, theory collided with reality. Everything went wrong. I can't rule anything out, but I suspect the Dream Scourge had something to do with it. It lives in the essence of the living lands, corrupting whatever it touches. And if I'm right, that means it's been here a long time, or the forces behind it. No. To my knowledge, the accident was no everyday occurrence. But neither was the experiment. My mother transgressed on nature, on existence itself. Still, I don't understand what went wrong. When I do, then I can finish her work. I was 17. That makes it... Gods, has it been 13 years already? After they died, I wouldn't go near a lab. It was ages before Quilici got me to crack open a book. I have a lot of catching up to do in my studies. Need to make up for lost time. My mother and father didn't know the risks, and I can't stop thinking about them. Caution and experience will stop us from repeating their mistakes. That's all I care to say for now. At least, about this topic. I thought my family's research could help Emerald Stair. That it could banish the Dream Scourge from our lands. Of course, Vidaro wouldn't even give me a chance. He was afraid of history repeating itself. Still, I'm hopeful. This legacy of mine could change Animancy as we know it. And something tells me I'm close to a breakthrough. Closer than my mother ever got. Good question. The idea of finishing my parents' work gives me a warm feeling. But do I want it? I know I've got one lifetime, and I want to do something with it. Very good. You know your metaphysics. This is the one life where I am Giada Castel, Animancer extraordinaire. In the next life, I could be an idiotic tree. I have an obligation to use the time I have. No Animancer has engineered an ecosystem before. Maybe, with a little luck, I could be the first. That little island off of Dawnshore? None that I know of. Ignato Castel led the Valian trading company in the Deadfire archipelago. Among other things, he invested in the future of Animancy, and apparently he had interests here. I hope not. I wouldn't want my family associated with speculation, corruption, and whatever else happened in the Deadfire. We have enough problems already. He had some ideas about moving great distances in the blink of an eye. As far as I know, he was unsuccessful. Animancy and ambition are a dangerous mixture. Intoxicating, but dangerous. Afraid not. I've heard a lot of contradictory stories coming out of the Deadfire in recent years. Some say Castel is still in power, while others think his second-in-command took over the Valian trading company. You know how it is. Wherever there's conflict, there's bound to be misinformation. Unfortunately, that's all I know. Whether or not Castel succeeded, I don't think it's folly to dream. Now that you mention it, I did try and awaken my soul, to become fully aware of my past lives. Every Animancer tries, and fails. It's practically a rite of passage. So, one evening, I crept into the workshop and cobbled an invention together from spare parts. Amateur work. Then I turned it on. Big mistake. The next thing I knew, it was morning. I was floating in the fountain, and my head was pounding like a drum.
You don't need animancy for that. Just rum and a crew on shore leave.
That answers a lot of questions, honestly.
Sometimes I wonder, what if it actually worked? What if all of this happened before, and I'm just reliving the events of a past life? I try not to think about it too much. Ah, a simple question with a very complicated answer. The device is attuned to the spiritual energy of the living lands, much like a compass to magnetic north. But essence is chaotic by nature. As you saw with your own eyes, imposing order on chaos is not without risk. Indeed. Don't get me wrong, this invention is a small miracle, but it isn't enough. The phantasmal focus was supposed to be the start of something grand. One lever of a device that exists only in theory. Perhaps it should remain that way. What's on your mind? Thanks for talking. I can't believe it. Ranger Dorso, a traitor to Fior Messiverno. At least she isn't our problem anymore. My people let nature judge the turncoats. Always have. Rarely, and only when their guilt is certain. Exile in the living lands is not the worst fate a criminal can suffer, but it's close, and always deserved. Still, it's a shame. Dorso gave up on the dream of Fior Messiverno. Blamed animancers for the problems we tried to solve. And I hate to see anyone lose hope. That's all for now. Let me know if there's anything else. Thanks for talking. Between the two of us, thank you for helping Yatsli reach that vase. Maybe it seems like nothing to you, but to her it's everything. When you consider how many Orlans and dwarves there are, it's outrageous that we build so high off the ground. What a pain. Don't let her size fool you. On the inside, Yatsli stands as tall as a mountain. One of these days she's going to change the world, shake things up. And I'll be at her side, grinning like a fool. Anyway, thanks again. Not before I've done some reading. I wish you could have... Would have seen Emerald Stair in better times.
What was it like? I've only... passed through a few times over the years.
The evenings were cool. Fish leaped into our nets. Emerald Stair was everything.
Pleasant and abundant. Sounds like the fables old trenchers used to tell about Deadfire. Paradise.
I once heard rumors about a cataclysm in the Deadfire. Something about the lost city of Ukaizo. Does that ring any bells?
The higher-ups with fancy hats were looking for it, but that was all above my rank.
There was also talk of a broken machine. A device so large that it towered over the city.
Definitely sounds like the kind of thing the fancy hats would have been interested in. But why are you so curious about something on the other side of the world?
I have my reasons.
I'm met this Animancer one time. You might know him.
Oh? Who would that be?
Tall guy, beard, spectacles, hair.
That doesn't exactly narrow it down.
Had this thing around his neck. Gold, I think. Hummed a lot.
Humming is common, as is jewelry.
Had this nasally voice, like, "Oh, please, don't touch that machine. It's worth more than you are."
Oh! Was it Lisonio Galatini, the wandering teacher of Spirento? The renowned musician of the soul?
No, that's not it. I guess you didn't know him.
Well, let me know if you remember.
Did they not glow in the light? Her parents, her sentinels. To grow and flourish still, life without rot, form without death. The lake dries. Prune the bellflowers. Why should anything wilt? Endless spring. They breathe, they flower, they will never fade. Is the acorn not beloved of the oak? We merely ponder. They sing in peace. Was it not worth the change? Do we not? The bear would have spent its days in the wood. They are strong now, vibrant, better than their frail shells. More than alive. No suffering, no end. Sleep now. Dream of beauty and new life. We will speak soon.
Oh, hey, it's you. Oh, my favorite customer. Here to peruse my wares, I hope?
Yeah.
There should be some equipment by the Adra pillar.
We remember these.
Well, here we are on the precipice of discovery. Armed and ready for mischief.
I'm 2 out of 3 anyway.
Before we get started, indulge me. What are you excited to learn about? Good. We're on the same page. Now, I'm going to tap into the pillar's dormant energy and give it a good shake. In layman's terms, I'm chumming the water and daring the Dream Scourge to show its ugly face. This is no time for hesitation. All right. Drawing on the energy of the phantasmal focus, I'll start with a low-frequency ethereal vibration. I've got nothing. You?
Like I could go for some pie.
Shit. Alright, adjusting the frequency. The focus is warming up. I hope that's a good sign. Let me know if you feel something. Who knows how your godlike nature will react to this. Brace yourself. We're going to pin this bastard down.
Are you sure about this?
Don't worry, I'm a professional. Now, here goes nothing.
Souls in a circle, a whirlpool. We twine.
Hey, I think I got something. The focus twitched, like a fishing rod. Is that a door? Not the result I was looking for, but a result nonetheless. Don't be so sure about that. Remember, I'm an animancer, not a locksmith. Right before the door opened, I detected something in the Adra. I was right. The Dream Scourge has a point of origin. We can study the affliction from here, but I don't know that we can stop it. My thoughts exactly. If we want to stop the Dream Scourge, we still need to learn more about the source of the affliction. I hate to say it, but we'll get better results at the base of the pillar, where the energies are more potent. Naturally. After you.
But we gotta see what's down there now.
Gods! Did you open that door?
I did not bring us here to explore. Clearly, something wants to be found.
Does this feel like the start of a cautionary campfire tale to anyone else?
I wonder, did you open the door? Or did the door open for you? Incredible. These ruins are untouched. We are the first to disturb them. When was the last time anyone walked these passages? Must have been centuries. No, millennia. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll talk more once we reach the bottom. I'll wager those artifacts you found fit together somehow. Let's have a closer look at camp. Let's finish this. That'll show him. Little power goes a long way. Just a little spark.
Coming in hot.
Watch your head. There's a
Isokso!
Charge it up. Little power goes a long way. I would not go swimming if I were you, unless you wish to meet your maker. There must be a way across. If not underwater, perhaps over it, with the help of some ice.
Yeah.
Just a little spark. Charge it.
Isokso!
What in the name of Eora is that?
You, think it's sleeping?
I've never seen anything like it before. I don't believe it's a statue.
Never a dull moment with you in charge.
Protect the envoy.
Ready for more.
Isokso!
Looks like quite a fight. Let's break it up. How did they even get down?
Ready to make an entry.
If there are any monsters left, show yourselves. Some of us have work to do. I guess that means the coast is clear. Let's have a look at the attribute.
Come, hear us through the Adra. Find us.
Subtle as a mouse. We've backed the Dream Scourge into a corner. I say we pin it down here and now, before it wriggles away from us. The equipment was compensating for a poor connection to the beyond. Here, we won't have that problem. The last time we tried this, you felt something, yes? Maybe it had to do with your godlike nature. Try making contact with the Adra this time. It could only help. The effect should be stronger than before. Brace yourself.
You are here. You who bring us kind words and soothing thoughts. We welcome you. The mourners are gone now. Only the memories remain. We once belonged to the green and the wild. A people lived there once. They loved us as we loved them. They brought their dead to us. We used to dip our fingers, wade in the confluence of souls. We felt the thrill of their wonder. We basked in their desire to know us. They brought their prayers to us. We answered. We do not remember how we grew. Our eyes opened. We were the earth, the sky, many into a whole. We touched the mountains and they molded to our fingerprints. The Akita twined around us. They sang in awe of what we made. They called us the gardener, steward of life. Sabadal. None who remember us still live. But we have felt in you the seed of connection. We have sought you, called to you. And You reach back. We have not known the joy of companionship in so long. The rot. We feel it too. Our hands are bound. Find us. Free us. The rot that festers seeps into us as well. Our cage is far from here, buried in the garden, beyond the poison sea. Alas, we have been cut off from the land we knew and loved for too long. We could not trace its hills and valleys for you. But there are others who can. Go to the halls of the Tabaru Sinakis. We will try to explain. Those who cherish us, the chosen of the Akida, wait there. They will show you the way to the garden, to our prison. We will cleanse this rot with you once our hands are unbound. Find us in the garden. We twine, we await. First, let us offer you a sliver of our power, a boon to help you survive and find us. Will you accept it? We offer you gifts any would covet, and you search them for rot? You are our kin, the seed of our soul. We would see you avoid our fate. We would see you survive. Take it with our blessing. Now hurry to the halls of the Tabaru Sinakis. Bind us. Free us.
You're awake. Finally. We really pushed the phantasmal focus to its limits.
You were out a long time. We gotta start bringing pillows.
For a second there, I thought... Actually, never mind what I thought. Actually, I thought your soul had been blasted to 1,000 pieces. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. While you were out, I got some clear readings of the Dream Scourge. I've tracked its origin to the center of the living lands, somewhere deep in the untouched wilderness. You've heard of it. Fascinating. Maybe someone knows about this garden of yours. If we find the garden, we can cut off the Dream Scourge at its source. I hesitate to bring it up, but you were muttering while you were out. Had quite a lot to say. Whatever you were communing with, it had a spiritual energy I've encountered before, though only in traces. It must be connected to the Dream Scourge. Perhaps they share a similar origin. Yes, Sapadal. Who are they? What are they to you? I'm sorry? Sapadal is a god? But that's impossible. How could we have missed this? You never heard them before? Not even in your childhood? Only when you arrived on these shores? A trapped god. Trapped. And you spoke to them through the Adra. Maybe that tells us something. Not the Adra itself, but how it comes together. We've long theorized that all Adra is connected, but that changed when Animancers came to the Living Lands. The Adra here is severed from the rest of Eora, connected only to itself, or so we believe. If Sapadal speaks and works through Adra, then the living lands is their prison, their tomb. Now that is a tall order. We know the Dream Scourge is coming from this garden of yours. Maybe Sapadal can help us fight it.
I got a headache just thinking about it. And I'm not the one with the god knocking around in there.
The real question is, where do I start? Doesn't ring a bell, but maybe someone's heard of it before. We'll find the source of the Dream Scourge in the garden, but we have to find the garden first.
Then that's where we start.
Let's return to Fiormes Iverno. Banished or not, maybe I can squeeze a few answers out of my colleagues. Gods, I don't know. The farms, the community, my research, they all depend on animancy. But the Dream Scourge is the end of animancy, the end of the living lands as we know it. We should leave this place and its memories. There's nothing more for us here.
Finding a secret entrance and discovering a new god. Not bad for a day's work.
Wait. We smell the musk of war. We hear the clash of steel. No. In the distance. It may fade now. Was it a dream?
I lost you for a second there. Something the matter? Oh no. Let's go. You take the lead.
Come on. There's a way up those stairs.
There is such a thing as learning too much. The mortal mind can only take so many revelations at a time. What we discovered here, it shaped... Oh my god. No!
Andra's depths. This was no accident.
What happened? Who did this? The city's under attack. Come, there isn't a moment to waste. We won't learn anything standing here. I just hope Quilici is all right.
Something's burning. Doesn't look like the city, but let's make sure no one's hurt.
I can't believe this. All things considered, Fiormes Iverno looks undamaged. Surprising, when you consider the state of our defenses. Whoever started this fight didn't come prepared to finish it. I will be happy to oblige them. Someone made a dangerous enemy today.
We'll fight them with you, Giada.
They break. They bind us.
hope everyone is all right. My people settled these lands in the name of freedom. It took 50 years, but our oppressors caught up to us. I hate living in interesting times.
Kai, weapons ready.
I was worried for a second.
I thought you did quite well, under the circumstances. Good news, envoy.
There's the city. Thank goodness. It's good.
Envoy, over here. I see you avoided the carnage. A few of your countrymen, well, let's say they didn't know any better.
You may have beaten us today, but it's only a matter of time before Emerald Stair bends the knee.
Shut up already. Since the two of you are kin, I thought maybe you could help squeeze some information out of him. Good point. I'll just bring the masked warlord who answers to no one in for questioning. That isn't going to happen. We caught this one alive, so any justice we mete out will be on his head. What we know is this. The Steel Garrote marched on Emerald Stair. We're pretty sure they wanted to set us to the torch.
And you taught them the error of their ways. Well done.
Just doing my job, same as you. What I don't understand is why they came unprepared. Few soldiers, and even fewer supplies. If the Steel Garrote wanted to start a fire, they sure didn't pack a lot of firepower.
That was you?
Well, that's one question down. I'm sure the governor will want to thank you himself. As for our friend here...
It doesn't matter what you do to me. The living lands will be brought to heel.
Now listen, I am a patient man. But if you don't give us some answers, the envoy here is going to rip you in half. You know I was bluffing, don't you? I'm not looking forward to cleaning up the mess. So you can help me by telling us what we want to know.
Your threats are wasted, cur. I have nothing to hide. Inquisitor Ludwig gave the order to march on Fior Mesiverno. Emerald Stair's on the precipice of disaster. Crops have failed, the townsfolk are defiant, and it's only gotten worse.
I fail to see how attacking my city helps the situation.
The coast is the only habitable corner in the living lands. We can unite as one people, or let the wilderness take us. What choice do we have? Tradition led this place to its doom. Better that it burn, and the people start again.
That is, without a doubt, the worst justification for a war crime that I have ever heard.
Speaking from experience, people don't usually unite as one after you've attacked their home.
Ludwig tried to hasten the inevitable. Nothing more.
Ah, now that is what I call a thorough confession. What do you want to do with him? As an adherent, I trust you know how to handle it by the book. I'll see to it myself. One clean cut. Then again, I am known to be a little clumsy with an axe.
I say we give his body to Elia. Make him a revenant. Or worse.
Maybe that's taking it a bit too far. Thanks, Envoy. If I know the Burn Queen, she won't mind if we enjoy our vengeance a little.
If the Steel Garrote want justice, this is what it looks like.
Let's make sure we're long gone by then.
You did right by us. Thank you, Envoy.
Envoy, I owe you my gratitude, and perhaps an apology. They tell me you're the reason our city is standing. You took care of the Steel Garrote before they could cause any serious damage. I can't imagine what it cost you to stand up to the likes of the Steel Garrote, but we won't forget it.
No doubt your Inquisitor is aware of what happened here. You've made a powerful enemy.
I don't think she knows the meaning of the word. As for us, we're still standing, but our enemies have little patience for failure.
We agree on one thing. The Steel Garrote have declared war on the Living Lands.
That sort of thinking is precisely why my father fled the Valian republics.
What happened here is no coincidence. Their forces already have an unshakable grip on Paradis. Today marks a notable victory, but we've only bought ourselves time, not salvation. Tell us, what of your research into the Dream Scourge? Assuming our governor wants to hear it.
I may have spoken in haste before.
Pardon?
The very notion that the Dream Scourge had blighted our farms, it was too awful to acknowledge.
Are you being serious right now?
I am. The sanctuary my family built was falling apart on my watch, and I wasn't strong enough to bear it. You must understand. My mother is the Dream Scourge. I hoped against reason that she might recover, but her mind grew as blighted as our lands. To face reality would mean upending my city, throwing order into chaos, and admitting she was truly gone. I'm so sorry, Giata.
Don't waste your apologies on me. This changes nothing between us.
I don't expect your forgiveness, but I will do everything in my power to make this right. Whatever you have to say, I'm ready to hear it.
You want me to do the talking? Very well. The evidence is clear. The Living Lands is on the edge of an ecological disaster, both physically and spiritually. We may know the origin of the Dream Scourge. By following it back to the source, perhaps we can reverse the damage. Now for the bad news. An undiscovered god rests in the heart of this island. Until we know more about its nature, we are powerless to stop it.
But this is madness. When I said I was ready for the truth, I didn't mean... Quilici, tell him it's madness.
Envoy, is it true?
There's no other explanation for the spiritual shift in the living lands. Something that slept has awoken. I believe there is still more to learn, but a disturbance on this scale could explain the changes to our ecosystem.
First the Dream Scourge, then the Steel Garrote, and now... what does this god of yours want us to do? Pray?
This is no time for a theological discussion. Our survival hangs on a knife's edge. We can't remain in Emerald Stair.
But we can return someday. Rebuild your father's legacy. We should relocate to Thirdborn. It's the only settlement that can take us all.
No. I say we go to Paradise. Exactly. As long as we are Animancers, the Adherents will pursue us to the ends of the earth. Instead, we lay low, hide in plain sight, let them believe we're beaten, and bide our time.
While we hide, the Dream Scourge will tear this island apart. At least in Thirdborn, we can practice animancy freely. We can't gamble with our existence. The political climate of the Living Lands is too dangerous. We'll be proud to lend our strength to theirs, as Animancers and as fellow expatriates.
I have my misgivings, but you helped my father leave the Republics. I trust you to help us again. What of you, Envoy? Where does the hunt for the Dream Scourge take you next?
Oh, I do.
Yardsley? Don't tell me you are getting swept up in all of this.
Oh, really? You should know better, darling. Any talk of the Akita, and I will appear. If you're looking for the garden, I can probably lead the way. You're already aware that I'm the foremost Akitan scholar in the Living Lands, and...
Godless scholar, my dear. No one outside of academia uses their proper name.
Ah, right. Layman's terms. Thank you, darling. Well, to make a long story short, I think I can lead you to the garden. 30 years of research, and I think the answer lies in a ruin called Naku Kubel, which is in Shatterscarp, so we've got to get there now. Though the city was saved, my research wasn't, which means the Steel Garrote knows just as much as we do. Wait. If they know as much as we do, they know to go to Shatterscarp too. Oh no. I've got to warn Temerity. Meet me in Thirdborn, all right? You can't miss it. It's the only bit of civilization in Shatterscarp, if you can call it that. I'll finish getting ready here and just meet you there.
Ugh, what a whirlwind. Gods, I love that tiny woman. You'll need both to survive the Living Lands, but at least you won't be lacking in good judgment.
Don't speak too soon.
I can promise you a good brain, but it doesn't always come with good judgment. For what it's worth, I vouch for Yardsley. She's a good friend and a bad influence. Right now, we could use both.
There's a gate to the north, which will take you to Shatterscarp. It's guarded by some of our best rangers. I'll make sure they grant you safe passage. May the gods protect you, Envoy.
Exploring the Living Lands with a friend. What more could I ask for?
Back to Shatterscarp, then. Best room in the city, if you can stand.
She asked about you again, Halden. She wants to know when you enlist.
They're coming!
Here we go!
That's better.
Another soul for the wheel.
Wolf lately? Welcome back.
Another win, but who's counting?
Welcome back. If you want information, I've got it. Just a matter of what you'll pay for it. The locals are worried about the steel garrote coming into town. Whatever Wodica wants, she's bound to find it. There's a rumor about a valuable Pargroon stash north of here. You didn't hear that from me, though. I hear there's trouble out in Thirdborn. They're blocking the roads off, and they won't tell anybody why. It's getting more expensive to bring produce in from Fjord. Whatever's going on, that doesn't bode well. Some Svef user told me he had a vision out by the eastern ruins. Not sure what that's worth to you. Suit yourself. Don't just stand there. Come in. The Baloroc's always open.
Envoy.
Yeah.